Let me ask you a question. Two questions. Do you like ice cream? Everybody like ice cream, right? Do you like ice cream? It's a fair question, right? I'm assuming you might say yes to that. Okay. How do you like steak? You like steak, right? Everybody likes steak. Now, do you like ice cream on your steak? No. Okay. So, you would agree that you like ice cream? Yes. And you would agree that you also like steak. Two different statements, but they're both true. Okay. Okay. Let's chat for a second. Let's chat for a second. I'm a big fan of the statement, two things can be true. And as much as I enjoy the statement, I cannot claim it as my own. I do thoroughly think it makes perfect sense, but Shannon Sharp is the first time I had heard it, so shout out to Uncle Shannon, baby. But yeah, I think it makes perfect sense. It makes perfect sense for a lot of scenarios and a lot of shit that we choose to argue and bicker about instead of just agreeing to. It's essentially agreeing to disagree, but it just sounds smoother. Two things can be true. It just sound better. You feel me? So again, steak, ice cream. You like steak, like ice cream. Don't like them together. True statement. Two things can be true, right? They don't, they can be mutually exclusive, but at the same time, they also don't have to be mutually exclusive, right? Okay. We good? Okay, heard you. Now, men, what do you want from our women? What do you want? Overall, what do we want? Bear with me, ladies. Bear with me, right? We want loyalty. Now, I know that's broad. That could go a bunch of different ways. But I am going to map out and navigate a way that certain women give it to us without ever realizing that they do. But this is a big part. This is a very, very integral part of loyalty to men. Absolutely. A friend of mine back in high school. He, had some shit going on, and he essentially gets jumped. I'm out of school this day, so hey, look, I wasn't present. We situated that another day, but it gets back to me that my homeboy had got into this scenario. His girlfriend is present at the time. Girlfriend don't help in the middle of the scenario. Now, I know that sounds bad. That sounds very, very bad. But what was she supposed to do? You feel me? Like, what exactly was she supposed to do? And this is the way that I described it to him. Once me and him finally got a chance to discuss it. Like, hey, what did you want her to do? You want her to jump in for you and be rah-rah and get her fucking head split open, bro? That's what you wanted? You to want that on your conscience? Absolutely not. And after initially being upset because it just felt like betrayal, and I'm sure it did in the moment, it just felt like betrayal, he understood where I was coming from and he realized it. And I was cool with both parties, so I had a chance to kind of kick it with her about it too. And I kind of told her the same thing, like, hey, I get that it looks bad, but under the circumstances, there wasn't a lot that you could have done. I mean, there's some shit that you could have done, but nobody necessarily was asking you to do those things, right? Like, there's some shit that you could have did, true, but we understand that you didn't. I mean, let's say I understood that she didn't. That's just me. Now, why am I telling that story? I tell that story because a very big way that women show us loyalty is by being the ride or die chick. Right? It's funny. I got a friend who is so firmly against that. Like my homie Chanel. Like, shout out to Chanel. Chanel is so firmly against that notion, the statement. She don't want to hear it. She don't want nothing to do with it. Like, but shout out to you. But this ain't that. You feel me? Like the statement and the sentiment itself, I'm gonna play off of, but that's not really what I'm talking about. So just bear with me, right? Okay. I grew up watching a lot of mob movies, and one of my all-time favorite mob movies is Goodfellas. And the scene in Goodfellas where, you know, she called Henry, and the neighbor guy that tried to get on her, so Henry pull up with the snub nose 38, and he beat dog hit in, bop, 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 right? So, girl across the street, and she's kind of watching it, and he come across the street and hands her the gun, and he says, hide this, hide it. Do nothing else with it, hide it. Technically, she was a witness to this crime. She took the gun. She's automatically on the hook for it if that were a story that was to be told. If he decided he wanted to press charges, she's technically on the hook for that shit too. And she could have said no, I don't want to be involved. But she said, no, I took it and I hit it. And she says in the movie, hey, you know, a lot of my girlfriends would have said, no, what the fuck going on? I'm not doing it. But she said, I got to admit the truth. It turned me on. No homo for me, right? That's no homo about it. But in that moment, that was loyalty. In a different way. Now, loyalty can be, you know, cheating versus not cheating and that kind of shit. But that's always touchy. It's always a hard thing to gauge off of in that realm, because you can never be around somebody that much. There's always going to be unknowns. There's always going to be unrest with shit like that. Because you just, you know, I would like to assume your other party in your relationship has their own life and do shit on their own, so you can never be up under a person 100% of the time and always know what it is doing or what they're not doing. You feel what I'm saying? So it's that you want that, you absolutely want that in your relationship, but it's very, very hard to get it and gauge that. Now, in the realm that I'm speaking of, it's more of an illusion than anything else. I know that sounds weird, but hear me out. What men really want is the ride or die chick, the down chick, the chick that's that. Hey man, if I pull up and I hand you the gun and you gonna hide it, you gonna hide it. But at the same time, if they find it, I would never let you go down for it. Assuming you that much of a stand-up guy. That's a lot. But then that goes back to y'all choosing and deciding who you're gonna date and how and why. So that's what you short. But yeah, no, seriously, like what in the scenario that I kind of pinpointed, right? Like, yes, when you in that situation, if you the guy that's getting jumped out here by however many guys, whatever, and your woman is out there, it might cross your mind, this bitch better knock somebody out. It just might, but at the same time, what if she get her ass whooped out there? They got them both caught her ass whooping. And why? Because you thought it necessary for her to jump in? Nah. It will weigh on my heart a lot more if something happened to my woman over some shit that I could have just taken care of. Take your ass whooping, take your lumps, and then sort it out at a later date. But the plan and the intent should never be to drag my woman down into this shit. Right? So I can, again, understand where it seems like disloyalty in the moment. But that's another way to kind of bounce off the loyalty thing, because my loyalty to you should be, I don't ever want to see you hurt. So just as much as, yeah, we want to be able to drop the gun off, or I jump in the car and say, I just robbed this bank, fucking drive, you gotta drive. As much as I want you to not even question it and just drive. As a man, I shouldn't want you to go down for whatever it is that I did that I want you to protect me from. I know that sounds weird, but again, two things can be true. I want that loyalty. I want you to have my back in that way, but at the same time, I don't want you to actually have to go down for it. I just want to know that you're capable of doing it. I just want to know that you can do it. That you, it will cross your mind. Let me leave this stay with this nigga. That's all. That's all. That is a very, very small amount of loyalty and peace of mind, ladies, that you can give men. And honestly, if you want it, we absolutely want it. To keep it a buck. Like, it's an illusion, because again, these scenarios, I mean, they obviously happen, but you know, depending on who you are and who you dating, they normally wouldn't. They obviously do. But again, regardless to whatever the situation and the crime and whatever, all we necessarily want is to know you ain't gonna be the one to turn me in. You feel me? Rather, if I go down for it, bet. My chick didn't turn me in though. You know, like she kept shit tight, she kept shit real, and I was good. Right? And if it's really hitting a fan and it come down to it, then absolutely it's on me. Like, you feel me? Like it's on me, and it's up to me to make sure that you don't go down for whatever it is that I got us in a situation before. But don't be the one to turn me in. Like, don't be the one to turn me in, and yeah, that's a quick little sliver of loyalty that y'all absolutely can give us. Absolutely, and we want it. We want it. Now, if you're watching and you think I'm talking crazy, I'll give you the perfect example of what I mean. When they caught El Chapo ass after he had did all that mess and escaped the police 4 or 5 times, he breaking out of jail, he building tunnels and shit, assuming he was gonna get locked up. Interview dog wife, what she say? What El Chapo wife say? Drugs? He sell drugs? Chapo? On the street? Chapo ain't sell no drugs. He didn't do that. Boom. Boom. Nothing more, nothing less. Now, you know, she could have decided she was gonna save her own ass, but no. I don't know nothing. I ain't seen nothing. I don't know shit about shit. That's all I mean. That's all I mean. He's one of the most wanted men in American history. And watch me say, I don't know shit. That is the most loyal I've ever seen any woman. What? I don't know nothing. Heard you. I heard you, right? But at the same time, you know, Chapo gave her something that in these scenarios, in the scenarios that I'm speaking about, this is how you're supposed to do it. Chapo gave her plausible deniability. Plausible deniability is never letting you actually know whatever the fuck it is I did. So you genuinely cannot give a statement. You don't know. You don't know. Now, maybe he didn't give her that, but she played it as if that's what it was. I don't know anything. I don't know nothing. Never had her on tape. None of that. I don't know nothing. And she got to play that because of how he handled his business. Right? So, let's say I showed up bloody clothes and shit. Hey, boo, like, take this shit. Burn it. You have no idea what I did. You have no idea. You just know I came home and this is the way I look. Do you follow my instructions? Do you take these fucking clothes and you burn them? Or do you go in the bathroom and call the police? Yeah, my boyfriend is here and I'm pretty sure he didn't hurt somebody, so come pick him up. Super funny. That's super funny. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, do you go and you burn them clothes because I instructed, or you turn me in? Now again, we don't. The end result should never end up with you actually being hurt or taken to jail or anything like that. You know, my last video I talked about what real men do. Well, that shit ain't what real men do. Real men never allow their women to go down for something that they did. That shit dead. That's dead. That taking off off of you shit is corny. That ain't what real men do. So, it's as extreme as my examples are. Again, it's more about us just thinking, would you? Could you do it? It's an illusion. Because the moment I think that you're that, I'll never need you to prove it to me. I'm good. I'm good. She got me. I'm good because again, in my mind, as a man, my integrity, my morals, I could never allow you to go down for that shit anyway. But are you gonna be the reason this shit all comes crumbling down on me? That's what I mean. I was watching this show a while back, and this guy was saying like he had robbed a bank or whatever, and they came up on like $1 billion basically. So dog take his cut, and he, you know, he was dumb, but whatever. He take the shit and he hid it at the crib. He He cutting open teddy bears and shit and hiding in the bears. He hiding the shit in the backyard. He digging up pipes and dumping the shit in PVC pipes and taping this shit up. Wife start finding money. Wife wanna know where the money come from. She gets tripping. Wife taking shit and throwing it down the garbage disposal. She's pulling shit up the pipes and she's burning it. Where did this money come from? Where did this money come from? Shorty, what is you doing? What are you doing? Let me handle this. What? And again, he never copped to a crime. He never said this is what I did. He never said this is where it came from. He said this is what's up. Mind you, he didn't tell her anything. She just kind of dumb as hell, but he stumbled upon what had actually happened. And she goes crazy. And they have like this corner house, and then she's going nuts, and first police ride by, and boom, she gets this man caught. Like, what did you, like, what? Come on, son, that ain't it. Man, come on. Like, no. And that's what I mean. Like, do you trust me? It's loyalty, but it's also trust. Do you trust me enough to know that I got it? I got this. And when shit is all going down and all is fan, I got you. So it's a loyalty and it's a trust thing. You feel me? It's a double whammy. Think about it like that. And again, it's all mental. It's all mental. Once you give me that impression, once I have that thought of you, the only thing you can do to take that away from me, the only thing you can do to change that would be to fucking turn me in or some corny shit like that. That's it. Once you got it, once it's burned into my head, that's it. That is a very minuscule piece of loyalty and trust that you can implant in our head that we will take and we'll run with forever. Those are the chicks we get locked up and we write them the rest of our lives. Like, oh, I know Shorty was down. She was loyal as hell. Like, I know it. And yeah. Like, them the chicks we go back to. And we want that. We want that for sure. You know? So do you get me? Do you understand what I'm saying, though? Like, and do you get how two things can be true? You know? It makes sense to you, right? I want you to prove your unending, undying loyalty to me by letting me do heinous shit. And you don't turn me in. But I also never want you to do a day in prison, jail, or anything, because that's on me. And I gotta face that. I just want to know that you're capable of doing it. Two things can be true at the exact same time.